Welcome to the latest episode of Harmonious World, and for this episode I'm delighted to be joined by Simone Gubbiotti, whose album Underdogs is out now on Double Dimension Records. And Simone got in touch with me on Facebook, so if you know any artists who want to be featured, then get them to get in touch with me. I have a very long list at the moment, but I'm always happy to include new artists that I've never heard of before. I love this album from when Simone sent it to me, and what you're listening to now is track 1, Injury Time. So I hope you enjoy my conversation with Simone. Hello.
Hey, hello. Good afternoon.
Hey.
I'm very excited to be here. Thanks so much.
Well, no, thank you for getting in touch with me. I love it when people I've never heard of get in touch and send me their music. And I love Underdogs. It's a great album.
It's, for us, at least in Italy, it's not that common that like journalists or podcast makers answer so quickly and so kind. So
that's okay. So obviously, I've heard about your background. Can you tell my audience a little bit about your background? Because you have a very interesting story.
Do you mean background in general in life or in music?
I mean your life as in sport, and then your life in music.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I played football for, let me think about that, maybe 25 years or 30 years. But at the beginning, when I was a teenager, I was selected by AC Milan to play professional football. And then I had an injury. And basically, I know it's fancy to think I come from professional football, which is true, but not so, it didn't last that much. So
you were there, you were at that level, albeit briefly because of the injury.
I was at the level. So it didn't last that much. I had an injury on my knee, and they released me, and then I couldn't really get back to the professional football. Not many know, but I had a mistake that I regret, because at the time the club of my city was playing also in Serie A, it's like the Premier League in Italy, and I didn't want to go there because they told me I couldn't be in the first team playing regularly. So they told me, we want you, but I can't guarantee you are going to play. And when I was a teenager, I was like kind of, like tough guy. And I said, I don't want to do that. Or I play or I stay home. And I didn't go, and it was a huge mistake. And then after that, I played for kind of amateur, but not professional, but almost professional, because I used to training like four times a week, and on Sunday we had the game, so it was basically a commitment. But music to me is kind of more interesting, especially for the message I want to share with the audience, because I didn't start playing guitar since I was 25 years old, so quite late. And the important thing is because I was in a deep depression, and the guitar saved my life at the time. So that's to me really more interesting than the football, if you know what I mean. But
yes, of course. No, absolutely. And so how did that happen? Who introduced you to the guitar, or what made you pick one up for the first time?
Oh, yeah, it was my father. And by the way, it was the same period I was playing football. Around like when he took home this kind of the really ugly classical guitar. I'm not gonna say the brand, so nobody's gonna be upset. But so it was a classical guitar, and I didn't really play never, because I had to go to the training. So I just picked up the instrument I used to put on the bed and play just the open strings. And it happened when I was around 12 or 13 years old. And then I left the guitar there. So my father took it, and he was there like, I don't know, like somebody present in your life, or an object that you own the entire life. You don't pay attention. And then when I got depressed around 21, 22, and it lasted more than professional football, the depression, at some point I remember, hey, I have this instrument just right close to the window in my childhood room. Let me try to see if now I can figure out something. It was basically to test my limits, to challenge myself. And I started playing like, the scout course, or those kind of C major stuff. I'm a self-taught, so. And it worked quite well as a cure for my depression, because suddenly I didn't think too much about depression, my obsessions, all those kind of things. And then, it saved my life. And I used to joke about that, saying, okay, it saved my life at the time. Now, I'm in trouble.
You've got very good at it. So you've obviously put the hours in practicing.
I did a lot. Yeah. Actually, sometimes it happens. Or even now, that at 3:00 I have some kind of argument in my mind, and so now I have to wake up to practice, and see, because I have to to dig and dig and dig. But at the time, I practiced a lot. And by the way, most of the great players I work with, they say I was fast learning the guitar. If I did, I don't know, but I guess I learned something, because I come from the sport. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because that kind of background really helps me, even now, to have the right mentality to be proficient on the instrument, and to use the time at the right way. I used to teach a workshop about the parallelism between sport training, because I also run I don't know in English, the measure, the 5 kilometers.
Oh yeah.
I was in the athletics also. So this kind of aspect, I used to teach how your mind can work out being proficient on the instrument coming from the sport, which is kind of interesting.
Yes. No, and I think that's why I wanted you to explain about your sports background, because I think the discipline and the need to practice and to hone your skills comes from somewhere deep inside you. And whether you applied it to your sport or to your guitar playing or to your music, it's obviously come from deep within you, that discipline, that sense of wanting to achieve and to work at something.
Well, absolutely. I'm the kind of guy who can stay on one single argument for 12 hours without any problem. But I think also, well, you are right saying that probably I have something that helps me to play. So I'm in Italian, I would say I'm portato. I mean, I'm made to play some way. But without that kind of discipline, I don't think somebody can achieve a nice result on something.
No. Right. So moving on to this album, it's called Underdogs. Tell me why you called it Underdogs.
Well, we are in the sports again. So, well, as you know, the underdog is a team or an athlete who is supposed to lose a game or a race or something. So the bookmakers, normally it's a word from the gamble. So the bookmakers are going to predict that you're losing the game, and it's something happens a lot in the music business when you don't have a big name. So you send the project, and they said, well, it's good music, but maybe I can't sell too many tickets with booking this guy. So there is a kind of prejudicio. What's the word?
Yeah, prejudice.
Oh, okay. Sorry for the English.
It's good. Your English is great. It's better than my Italian, that's for sure.
So the message is, hey, we are not well known. It's kind of brand, the Underdogs. So in the album, we are 4 people with interesting stories. So we want to communicate to people that we can make the upset. So if you book us, we are here to play the right way, to play well, and you are going to be surprised. That's the Underdogs.
Brilliant. So when did you write the album and when did you record it? How did the writing come about?
Oh, the writing is work in progress all the time. So I have like 50 new songs already because I really write a lot. But in this case, the music was ready since basically before the pandemic. And then we had to wait really a lot to make this happen because the guys of the trio are actually in the north, in Torino. I'm in the center, so we don't have the chance to be together all the times. And then we booked the first time in November 2020, and they closed again with the lockdown. And so I had the music already there, and the arrangements made, and I was wondering already. Everything was ready, and we had to postpone to June of the last year.
Ah, right.
So we recorded on June. We are in the 22, right? So,
yeah, now, yeah.
So we recorded June 21.
Right. Okay. And these are all original tracks penned by you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. And have you been out performing them yet? I'm
working hard. We are still in the Underdogs part, actually. So I know for sure we have a festival in Croatia happening the first week of September, and I'm talking to people for some festivals here in Italy. But as you know, they take their time. So
absolutely, yeah. Very good. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me to talk about your album. I'm really excited. Where is the best place for people to get hold of it?
Well, actually, it's a digital release at the moment, and the vinyl is in pre-sale. They can write me everywhere. I'm in the social, so it's me managing everything, so they can reach me.
Yeah, very good. And I'll put all the links in the show notes so that people can get in touch. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It was very nice to talk to you.
Well, thanks to you again, and it was a pleasure being with you. By the way, if I can steal one second, I'm going to be in the UK in October.
Oh, fantastic.
But it's not the trio, it's another project I have with a piano player called Marco Marconi. Yeah, so we have a duo called Away From Home. Because I don't play that much in Italy, and I have a really huge respect for the choice he made, leaving the country and establishing him in London. So it's not easy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But he's doing really well. He's everywhere at the moment.
Yeah, too much. I'm scared he's not going to call me anymore. But
yeah, right. Brilliant. Oh, well, lovely. Thank you so much, Simone. And I look forward to seeing you in October.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much.
Well, I hope you enjoyed listening to that conversation with Simone. And I'm looking forward to seeing him in October when he's playing with my friend Marco Marconi. What you're listening to now is track 7 from the album Underdogs, which is called The Place I Live. You can find all the links in the show notes as usual, so please do connect with Simone, and you can also connect with me on social media. But meanwhile, I really hope you have a great week, and please do share what you're really good at, because that will make the world a little more harmonious. Thank you for listening to the latest episode of Harmonious World. My name is Hilary Seabrook, and it's a great delight to bring this series of discussions with musicians and composers and writers and all sorts of people to you. Obviously, there's no point in having a podcast if people aren't listening, and I'm very grateful to my listeners for doing so. Thanks also to Joe English for composing and performing this new theme tune. So wherever you get your podcast, you can leave a review. You can share this with your friends and family, either as a link or on social media and that sort of thing. I'd be really grateful for that. Don't forget that you can subscribe now. There's a link wherever you get your podcasts. So have a great week, and please remember why I started this, which is just to try and make the world a little more harmonious. Thanks for listening to Harmonious World.